Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, crazy lady accuses me of kidnapping my stepson. Tries to kidnap him from me. Asked a whole table if any of them had allergies. Only afterwards do I find out one lady had a garlic and onion allergy. Jesus Christ. A guy tipped me $3 on a $50 bill because the price for a beer was a rip-off. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Crazy lady accuses me of kidnapping my stepson. Tries to kidnap him from me. So this happened about a week ago, and I honestly am still fuming from this. I'm not sure if this belongs in this subreddit, but here goes. First, a little backstory. I'm a mixed ethnicity individual. I've been confused for many races over the course of my 29 years on this planet, but I'm literally Caucasian and African American. Usually it can be figured out, but the difference with me is my father is the Caucasian, so therefore my hair is straight. I'm originally from Texas and am usually confused for being Mexican. But now I live in Massachusetts and I've never had an issue with anyone concerning my race until this day. Also, I am married to a Caucasian woman who had a child before we were married. His father is not in his life as much, and I took the responsibility because I love this woman and I love this little boy as if he were my own. He's 4 now and I've been in his life since he was 1. Anyways, on to the story. My wife needed a few things from the grocery store and she needed to run a few more errands, and usually she just goes and knocks things out herself because I'm sleep, I work nights, but this particular day I happened to be awake and I offered to go for her. She works hard and does a lot, so I definitely felt it was necessary to do something for her so she could just relax for the day. I took my son with me so she could rest up and just take it easy, and it gave me time to spend with my son for some bonding. We completed all of the errands, which went smoothly, and then headed to the grocery store to finish up our day. My son, being a typical 4-year-old, was full of energy, running ahead of me, laughing and speaking to everyone he comes across, which I generally don't mind as long as he doesn't hit anyone and stays within eye view. As I'm making my way down an aisle looking for canned corn, my son jogs to the end of it when an older lady is entering at the other end. My son, being the sweet social butterfly he is, approached and exclaims an excited "Hi. Me 4 and me Ryan." Bless his little heart. The lady looked down and says, "Well, hello there. You shouldn't be running around unattended, let's go find your parents." I didn't think anything of her statement because I assumed she just hadn't seen me. "Ryan. Come back here, bud, please." He excitedly runs back toward me and starts turning in circles because, you know, he's 4, lol. I'm still searching the shelves as the lady walks past me and stops behind me. Again, I think nothing of it because it's a grocery store and you have to share the aisles. I turn my basket around and start to walk toward the front cash registers when this lady literally blocks my path. I say excuse me and try to walk around her, and she moves her cart in front of me again. I honestly thought she was just getting confused and said excuse me once again and tried one more time to go around, and she just blocks my path. The following convo ensues. Me, "I'm sorry about that, we'll get out of your way." Lady, "Oh, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with that child." Me, "You mean my son?" Lady, "That's not your child. He's white. And you're Mexican. You probably didn't even know his name until he said it to me." Me, "Sure, whatever, lady, can you just move? My wife is at home and anxiously awaiting for us." Lady, "Stop your lies. You're not taking him anywhere, you pervert." This whole time my son is standing close to me holding my leg because he was honestly getting scared. I was getting angry because I hadn't had much sleep and I have a short fuse anyway, thanks Dad. Me, "As you can see, he's standing close to me because he trusts me and you're scaring him, so how about you buzz off?" Lady, "No. He's scared because of you. He just doesn't know how to express it yet." She looks at my son. Lady, come on now, sweetie, I'm here to rescue you. Come with me. Thankfully, my son was able to communicate to her he wasn't going anywhere with her. But she was having none of it. She literally grabbed my son and began to run. It caught me off guard because I honestly could not fathom what was actually happening. My son starts screaming loudly because he was so scared, and this lady is just like, "Don't worry, sweetie, he won't hurt you, I promise." Suddenly I snap back into reality and I begin to chase after this crazy winch. While running through the store, I yell for people to stop her and that she's kidnapping my son, and thankfully a worker stops her before she makes the exit. Lady, why are you stopping me? This Mexican here is trying to kidnap my grandson. My son literally is bawling his eyes out and extending his arms out, calling for me. This lady was relentless and would not let go until my son, even after he slaps her face multiple times. I laughed a little, not gonna lie. At this point, a manager shows up and asks what's going on. The lady spoke before me. Lady, this, pointing at me, pervert is trying to kidnap my grandson and I was just trying to escape. Me, that's my son, you freaking psycho. Now let him go. The manager didn't know what to believe. I don't blame him, he was caught in a weird situation. So I pulled out my phone and showed him pictures of me and my son that dated a year or so back as proof. This lady still would not give up and accused me of faking them. Like, how would you do that exactly? I'll never know, but whatever. Sadly, there were two other ladies there taking the psycho's side and said I was attempting to kidnap my own son because there was no way we were family because of our different skin tones. One even called the police, which I was actually happy about because I knew they'd be able to review the security cameras. Even still, I called my wife to see if she could come to the store to get this situation cleared up quicker. As soon as I told her what was going on, she zoomed to the store. She got there about the same time as the police. The crazy ladies were giving their statement to the cops when my wife walked in. As soon as she walked in, my son goes, "Mama, help." My wife is a true mama bear and she immediately flew into a rage when she saw this lady holding my son. Wife, let him go now. Lady, sorry sweetie, I was just trying to protect him from this pervert over here. Lady 2, yeah, we saw him trying to kidnap him, but this lady saved him. The cop looks at the lady and is confused. Officer, I thought this was your grandson? Wife, I have no idea who that lady is. She takes out her phone and shows the officer a picture of my mother-in-law. Lady, okay, I'm sorry, he's not my grandson, but I was only trying to protect him from this dirty pervert over here. Lady 2, yeah, I witnessed the whole thing. He snatched that child and tried to run away with him, but this lady stopped it. Lady 3, yes, I saw it too. He needs to be arrested. And you, pointing to my wife, should be thankful that this lady was here to save your son because you obviously just let him loose wherever. Wife, who are you talking about again? All three crazy ladies pointed at me. Wife, oh, you mean my husband? Lady 1, husband? Wife, yeah, who do you think called me and got me here so fast? I presented my ID to the officer and the manager, and my wife did the same. We also each showed pictures of us on our phones to prove we were really a family. The cop nodded in approval and handed us our phones back and jotted down a few notes. The three ladies for some reason still kept trying to say this was all fake and my wife was in on the kidnapping and said we needed to be arrested. My wife lost it at this point and let off some colorful words I won't repeat here, but she definitely got her point across. Then the nail in the coffin came for the psycho trio. The office turned to the manager and asks, Officer, sir, do the cameras work here? Manager, yes, we have them inside and out. Officer, okay, great, let's go review. The three ladies' faces went pale. Like ghostly pale. The officer reviewed the outside camera as I pulled into the parking lot and saw me take my son out of my car, and then as I went up and down the aisles, and most importantly, the instance the woman snatched up my son and began to run. Upon his return, he asks, "Officer, would you like to press charges?" Lady 1, "Yes, I would." Officer, "Why would I be asking you that question? Shut your mouth and sit down." He turns to me and repeats the question. Me, absolutely. Lady 1 was charged with attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, providing a false police report, and child endangerment. The other two were also charged with providing a false police report as well. To make matters worse for Lady 1, my son bruises easily and she left some terrible spots on him from where she was grasping him, but he's fine. This added a charge of child abuse to her rap sheet. I have court later this year, but I'm not sure when because of COVID. The officer will be following up with me in a few weeks. Sorry for the length. Update. Apparently, the lady involved is connected to local police through family, so they're trying to be real quiet and drag this out as much as possible. But we have managed to get a court date in October. No date exactly yet. But trust me, I'll post as soon as I have more info. Oh God. At least these women are getting the punishment they deserve for harassing you and your son. Please keep us updated as this keeps going. Yes, thank goodness you pressed charges, OP. I always hate getting to the end of the story and seeing people decline. This is how you stop the entitlement. These old biddies probably never had to answer to anyone like that before. Do you think this was a ruse to actually kidnap your son? This is just crazy. And the fact she was trying to leave and say it was her grandson. Did the other ladies know her? Seems to me that it might have been more a kidnap attempt and less of an EP. Honestly, I didn't even think of that. It may have been. Because the other two conveniently kept chiming in. Ugh, but I'm glad they all got in trouble. I'm Caucasian and my kids are Chinese. I was accused by a customs inspector of child trafficking, despite having all the paperwork with me. Weirdly, that's only happened that one time. My oldest, 18F, has informed me that it's only happened once because of white privilege. Sadly, I can't disagree. Glad you pressed charges against those women. I hope your son is okay. OMG, this reminds me an old college friend who was a non-traditional student. His grandfather was full Lakota, Sioux. He took after his grandma's side, red hair and pale skin. He had a daughter that looks full Native American. You wouldn't believe some of the situations he and his wife had to deal with. I think she's going away for quite some time, several years at least. Hopefully she'll get some karma and get put with a woman that's of mixed race and she'll learn a thing or two. Asked a whole table if any of them had allergies. Only afterwards do I find out one lady had a garlic and onion allergy. Jesus Christ. Had a 4-top last night, did my usual routine when taking their order, asking each of them individually if they had any allergies. Only a few minutes after I've put the order in does the manager come to me asking if anyone identified themselves with an onion and garlic allergy. They must have mentioned it on the restaurant website when booking. I asked each of them individually, no one said anything about an allergy. The manager goes to talk to the table and the lady identifies as the one with the allergy. He also had to run to the kitchen to rearrange the order. A few other staff told me not to worry about it, it wasn't my fault. I bet anything it wasn't even an allergy either, she just doesn't like garlic and onion. Most of the time, to be fair, people tell you straight up if they have a food allergy. If they take it seriously enough, they'll say it right away. So unfair, can't understand why people do this. Most of the people I know with allium issues, it's a digestive problem and not something that requires hospitalization by causing anaphylactic shock. So if she did have an allium allergy, it might be more of the "I don't want to shit my pants tonight" type of thing instead of a directly to the hospital I go thing. That said, no clue why people can't just mention these things up front. I've been out to eat with someone who had an onion/garlic issue who didn't want to bring it up because they didn't want to be annoying to the server, despite me, a server, telling them it's more annoying to not say anything. I want people to receive food they can eat with no issues. It is possible to be allergic to garlic and onion. I think it's the allium, but it's not very common. Regardless, you did ask, so it's their fault for not telling you. My sister is allergic to a bunch of stuff and she's always very specific when we go out to eat. She also just doesn't like onions, so she just doesn't order anything with onions. My ex laughingly admitted to me that he didn't like certain things, so he claimed allergies to be sure not to get it. Pissed me off. Just tell the waitress you don't like it. The kitchen shouldn't have to change cutting boards, knives, pots/pans just because you're a selfish asshole. He tried that once when we went out and I flat out told the waitress he was lying. Could X and Y be substituted for Z? Absolutely, no problem. A glare at him and the food was perfect. Years ago, I was exec at an Italian restaurant. One night one of the servers comes back and says, "Chef, there's a lady at my table that's allergic to garlic, tomato, gluten, lactose, olives, and sulfites. What do we have that she can eat?" This was an Italian restaurant. Literally everything on the menu had at least 2 items on the list in it. I offered spinach. These days, I usually have gluten-free pasta on hand, so I probably could come up with something to offer. A guy tipped me $3 on a $50 bill because the price for a beer was a rip-off. A guy comes in and orders a bottle of Yingling, or however it's spelled. I ask him if he wants a chilled glass on the side. He says yes. So clearly he knows it comes in a bottle, right? I bring a beer and he acts surprised. $8 for this, he asks. Yeah, the price was mentioned in the menu. For $8 I should be getting 2 bottles. I know, prices are ridiculous these days, I joke. I can buy a 6-pack for $8 in Texas. Welcome to DC, I say, smiling and shrugging. He seems to get the joke and acts nice the entire time with his ma'ams and thank yous here and there. Orders a clam chowder and a crab cake starter. After he leaves, I pick up a check and see he tipped me $3 on $50. LMAO. I closed it without a tip. Keep it, bro. You need it more than I do. For the next $50 dinner you buy yourself. Like, why some people decide to punish their server for things that aren't under their control. I don't make the prices. It's not my fault the inflation is ridiculous and restaurants are greedy. Take it up with the corporate, ick. But just like you, I pay $8 for a beer when I go out. Actually, I pay $20 for a martini when I go out because that's the reality. And I don't get angry at my server who brought it and don't punish them for it, and then run off like a coward before I had a chance to see it. End of rant. I can buy a 6-pack for $8 in Texas. He can buy a warm 6-pack for $8 in Texas. Somewhere in Texas there's a lonely horse's head looking for completion. Send this guy back. People who complain to servers and bartenders about prices when the prices are clearly on the menu are pitiful. You don't like the price? Order something else. Exactly. You saw the price. You know what a bottle of beer looks like. Don't act like I brought you something else. On the other hand, watching nice people, who know that I have nothing to do with the price, try to save their reactions to our frankly exorbitant beer prices, it's so funny. Like, bro, yes, I did say this pint is $20, it's insane and I am telling you before I pour it to give you a chance to back out, lol, it's okay. He's full of it. I can get a bottled beer for $4 at either dive bars or happy hours in Texas, but not at anywhere decent. $8 for a beer is usually for a craft beer, but I expect to spend more for drinks and food in any major metro in the country. Don't apologize for shit. I can get a 6-pack for $8 while there is a grocery store down the street, sir. Just buy bottom shelf vodka and knock off Lunchables and drink alone at home like an adult. I work at a brewery. I once had a guy come and say he was a brewery owner himself, so I instantly felt relieved. He's industry, right? Well, apparently it was my fault that we don't do custom flights, don't offer different sized pours, and don't have many options below 5% ABV. He started going off on how ridiculous and irresponsible that is, that you literally can't try more than 2 beers or so without getting drunk, due to only serving 14 ounces in pints and having mostly higher ABV options, and how ridiculous it was that we didn't offer custom flights. The thing is, I actually agreed with everything he said. They were all points that we get a good amount of complaints on. And told him exactly so, but unfortunately I'm only a server and can't just override decisions like that. But we have weekly beer training meetings with the head brewer and I would definitely bring it up next session. I felt like as an owner he should have known that. And I actually did bring it up, and lo and behold, brewer immediately shot it down. Well, I tried. His partner made him apologize, but he still left 10% anyway. Wonder if he really owned a brewery after all, or was one of those, I was once a server, 2 liars. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.